I'm looking at some of the ice time from yesterday. I want to talk about roster construction because we talked about it a little bit. We talked about it a little bit before the weekend. And, you know, I know our good friend CJ over at the CJ show thinks, hey, this roster was great. You get to overtime in the finals. There's not much that you can do to improve on that. And respectfully, I disagree. I think, guys, this was a team that was so much better than what they performed. And I'm not just talking about this game because they performed very well in this game. Mm-hmm. But against the Czechs, went down early, had to come back, squeak through. Finns went down early, had to come back, controversial calls, squeak through.
Yep.
I don't think it's unfair to say that Team Canada needed some depth scoring. And without Josh Morrissey in the lineup, and again, no disrespect to Shea Theodore, their defense could not move the puck as well as it needed to. Drew Doughty, unfortunately, to me, looked every bit his age out there. Yeah. Brad Marchand, who I keep hearing is probably headed for surgery and may not finish the season, had his first, I think, bad game in his whole life. I didn't think he was great.
He wasn't very effective.
Sam Reinhart, guys, played 6 minutes, 6:57. This is the Selke runner-up.
He had almost
40 goals.
He hit almost 60 goals. He had almost 60 goals once.
You do miss Cirelli, sure. You miss a Braden Point, no question. But what they did with Cirelli, defensive forward, they replaced him with Sam Bennett. That made sense to me. I like Seth Jarvis's speed.
Yep.
My issue was the lack of finish on the rest of those lines. There was a reason why McKinnon played 22 minutes, McDavid played 24, and Celebrini played 22 minutes. And it's because when those guys weren't on the ice, the chances of the team scoring, I know that Suzuki had a goal to tie it up. I know Marner had an overtime goal, but the chances of tying it up were just not there, especially without Crosby in the lineup. And the other thing I want to raise to you guys, they couldn't win a faceoff.
No. You know, I wonder a little bit about, you do got to throw a little bit of arrogance in there. Because John Cooper had, I think generally he was up and down. But he talked about the difference between 5-on-5 hockey and 3-on-3. I've looked up at that Canada box with all the management, all the coaches in there. Mm-hmm. You don't know who the best 3-on-3 players in the world are? If it's so different, John, and you're going to wax poetic about how different it is, then treat it like it's different. Which is to say, get Nick Suzuki on the ice. Are you out of your mind? If McDavid...
And they don't start with Celebrini in overtime. He's leading them in goals.
Oh!
They could have put McKinnon Suzuki out on the second shift.
He on a team just stacked with stars. A lot of them didn't find their role, which can be a player problem, can be a coach problem. He rode his horses into the ground. And you'll always wonder if that had an effect going into overtime. You'll always wonder if 3-on-3 is so different, and of course it is. It's 3-on-3. You treat it differently. You know, they went to 3-on-3 3 times. They won 2 of them. You know, maybe this is just cope, but I mean, that was exceptionally bad. Every bad decision they could have made, they did.
Jesse.
Yes.
I disrespected Thomas Harley. He had a very good tournament.
Yes,
he did. Yeah.
When it comes to the face-off situation, that was the thing that surprised me the most. The fact that this group, I know Eichel and Matthews are just dynamite in the face-off dot. They always have been. But McKinnon, who is a career 54, 55% guy, McDavid's a good face-off guy. When you look at this roster, they didn't win, so you can't say it's perfect. What tweak do you think you could have made or would have made in retrospect? And it's a totally unfair thing to say, but that's what we fucking do.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I'm trying not to make too many grand proclamations about the roster just because McKinnon can't hit a wide open net.
Yep.
Like, I don't want a revisionist history too much of Team Canada because he just wasn't able to make one play that he's made 1 trillion times in his life. So if you're making changes to this roster, they have to be based on the entire tournament and not that one game. And you'd have to
That's why I think depth scoring
2030 and going to that and like, okay, what do we need more of? And I don't disagree that a player like Bedard would be more useful in this team. There's a more offensive-minded player. We all know his head coach had to come out and defend his defensive side of the game, but like that wouldn't be why you're putting Bedard on the roster. You'd be putting him on there to, hey, go shoot the puck. Like go do some fun things with the goal, with the puck there and shoot it. So like I definitely think if you're going to 2030, you think, okay, how do we generate more offense out of the top guys? Because he clearly leaned on them. And Steve, with the 3-on-3 overtime, they didn't get it done, and McDavid was ugly in it. But if you're not starting McDavid, McKinnon, Makar in overtime, you're getting to Gretzky not in a shootout.
That was their second go around, though.
It was, but you have to. That's all you got to do. Those are the guys.
No, it's 20 minutes.
You have to try and put those guys out there to win, because then it's the other side of it. And it's like, you put Nick Suzuki out there ahead of McDavid, even though that's probably the right thing to do. And if Gretzky's not the guy to put in the shootout, it's still absurd that he wasn't there.
I don't think Cooper would wear that, but we'll never know. One thing that is just straight up true, the combination of Marner and Stone were so dynamite early on. And when they lost Crosby, I'm not making excuses for, if they had Crosby, they'd win. But Cooper didn't know what to do. And it wasn't about losing Crosby. It was about losing an entire line. Like Marner and Stone got lost in the shuffle. And I thought they had found a solution in Suzuki. He played him less than 11 minutes.
Yeah, he played Suzuki 10:31, Bennett 11:55, and Horvat 10:21.
And Marner got like 17 minutes just getting out there and hanging around.
Yeah, penalty kill, a lot of penalty kill,
a lot of penalty kill,
a lot of power play,
and they did a good job on that.
But yeah, that's the fourth highest time on ice amongst forwards, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Mitch Marner did, but yeah, a lot of that's the penalty kill. And clearly John Cooper had, once the tournament got to the elimination rounds, he said, I have one line and 3 guys that can score, and I'm just going to hammer away at these guys. And that there, because that's a bigger sample size of like the whole 7 games of the tournament, you say, okay, we should have got him some different pieces that can actually put the puck in the back of the net. You know, so like I would have brought Zach Hyman. I think he would have been more useful. And Connor Bedard needed some serious consideration, because we know Doug Armstrong never even thought about this man. Like, I don't even know if he has Connor Bedard's number, because he said not even in the fall was he a consideration for this team. That's a little ridiculous.
It is. And the tournament sort of put things into perspective, not just seeing things play out, but numerically. Sam Reinhart's playing 6 minutes. That's a waste of time. Clayton Keller. Do you know how much Clayton Keller played in that gold medal game?
Go ahead.
He played 38 seconds.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Noah Hannafin played 6 minutes.
38 seconds. Okay.
He got a shift.
How bad, how catastrophic of a defensive liability would Connor Bedard have to be that he couldn't give you 6 good minutes?
Even if you have him as a power play specialist. If you think that the reason his defensive numbers look bad,
which is what Reinhart was.
Right. And Reinhart's not a center. The thing about Bedard, he's not really though. Bedard's an always center.
Yes.
The reason Bedard's numbers look like shit on defense is because he is up against, like, his coach isn't wrong, although I don't think his coach is the greatest coach in the world and probably isn't the guy to be criticizing Team Canada management, having won literally nothing at the pro level. But Connor Bedard plays the best players on every team every night. So for that not even to have been a consideration, that's the part of the Torino thing that comes back to me. And right. For the Torino team, for people that don't remember, because again, this is like Steve and I's last year of high school. That's how long ago it was. 20 years ago.
Damn.
The Torino team blew it because they brought old guys.
Mm-hmm.
And
the young guys that they did bring didn't play.
Didn't play, and the guys that they left at home it's embarrassing when you look at it. This tournament to me, Steve and Jesse, what it drove home was guys like Marchand, who's clearly injured and is clearly got to shut it down at some point here, unless the Panthers go on some Cinderella run again. I don't think they will, because I don't think Matt Tkachuk's even fully healthy yet. Tom Wilson had his really good moments in the tournament, but ultimately,
he got lost.
Ultimately, in a game like that, non-factor.
I thought he was dynamite yesterday. Bennett was a liability. Marchand was a liability. And Wilson got lost.
I think it's a young man's tournament. I think that's the thing about the youth, right? I do think it's not a 30 to 35-year-old tournament. I think it's a 22 to 27-year-old tournament, especially when you have access to the best players in the world. That's got to be your core, and you augment with legends like Crosby. At the next Olympics, it'll be Connor McDavid. That's the older legend.
I do. There's one guy who I don't even think had a bad tournament, but like when you put it in the simplest terms, is Drew Doughty one of the 8 best defensemen in Canada?
That's a loyalty thing. That's what I don't think. They got to get away from this.
In Canada.
No.
All of Canada.
No.
The entire country.
Steve.
We all know one of 8.
Evan Bouchard is better. We know.
I think the list is a lot longer than that.
I agree with you. But they brought him for, vibes, and he's been there before, and he's won gold medals and all that. But I think my issue, and this is where I think they ran into problems, was they had loyalty to people blindly from the Four Nations team. They had Hagel, they had Point, and they had Cirelli, and then those guys went down. So they're like, okay, we'll just bring the Four Nations guys. And they didn't change the defense at all. You have to look at, this is pro sports. You got to look at what have you done for me lately. It's so nice that 18 months ago, Austin Matthews scored 69 goals. Do you think anyone gives a fuck today?
No. Nobody
cares. They were saying before the tournament, all this guy's lost a step. He's terrible, blah, 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 blah. Bad captain, doesn't know Leafs are terrible. Look at what he's done to them. It is literally, what have you done for me lately?
We're just going to go right back to that, by the way.
I know. That's fine. That's an easy one to push. That for me is, I understand the loyalty on a human level, but this is a ruthless sport. And the Americans were pretty ruthless. Clayton Keller got 38 seconds. Kyle Connor did not play again in the final.
I didn't realize how little he played, because during the medal ceremony, obviously they all have their helmets off. And I'm like, his hair is bone dry.
Yeah, because he didn't play.
The one shift where I think it was Chris Cuthbert is like, oh, that's Clayton Keller. That was it.
Buddy, they scratched 40-goal scorer Kyle Connor again.
Yo.
That's what I'm saying.
What do they have against that, man?
I know. That's the part for me where I do think in games like this, where the rate of play, you will watch the Stanley Cup Finals in a couple of months' time, guys. You will not see a game played at that skill level.
No.
Because they're busted and they're just not as talented. That was the best hockey game I think I've ever seen in my life.
This week is going to be one of the worst hangovers in Canadian history. And it's a back-to-back against the Panthers and Lightning.
I know.
On the road.
Terrible.
Do I have to?
You do.
Oh.
Hey, did you like the thing you just watched?
Was it hilarious?
Was it informative?
Was it me losing my mind?
Possibly. Potentially. Most of the time it is. Hey, listen, if you like what SDPN has to offer, you should check out more of our videos and subscribe to our channel by clicking subscribe, or Steve will find you.